So before we begin, I want to start with a land acknowledgement. We are presenting to you from UBC's Vancouver West Point Grey campus. UBC's Vancouver campus is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. This land and its rightful peoples have given us all of this opportunity to continue to learn, grow, and explore our world. I'm really grateful to be able to study, work, and play on this land that has been cared for thousands of years before me. Land acknowledgements are a way of giving recognition and gratitude to the First Nations, Inuit, or Métis land that we are gathered on. By giving a land acknowledgement, settlers take the very basic and fundamental step on the way to reconciliation between Indigenous peoples and settlers. However, we know that land acknowledgements go far beyond just acknowledging whose land you're on. To truly comprehend the importance of a land acknowledgement, one would need to research the historical trauma that affected Indigenous peoples and what effects still hold on to Indigenous peoples today. We are very fortunate to have our campus situated on these lands and to have the opportunity to live, learn, and work amongst the Indigenous people of this area, which is something we do in LFS, and hopefully this will be something you become more familiar with during your time at UBC. Now, a quick introduction to myself. My name is Zaira Faiz, and I'm the Student Support Specialist in LFS Student Services. I help support our team in various ways, but before we move on to the session, we have a very quick word from our Dean of LFS, Rickey Yada. Thanks for stopping by, Rickey. Just a quick note, Rickey, you're just on mute.
Oh, thanks, Ira. Sorry, got off mute. I hope it's okay. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us from all over the world. I apologize that I'm in my car, so I'm driving to where you located, so hopefully I'll see you soon. But before I say anything more, congratulations on getting an offer of admission to our faculty and to the University of British Columbia. We hope to be able to see you in September. But before I say a little bit more, I'll just tell you a little bit about my background. So I was born and raised in Vancouver, and I went to school at UBC in what at that time was the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences. As you know now, we're the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. Why did I pick agricultural sciences? Because it was the application of material that I learned in the classroom. And hopefully you'll have that same experience. So if you're thinking about such of the global challenges as food security, climate change, global health, this is the faculty that you'll be in and will address those important questions. So thank you again for selecting and hopefully admitting to Land and Food Systems at UBC, and look forward to you. And just one last thing, we're known as a friendly faculty, and I think my colleagues who will follow me will truly exemplify why we are the friendly faculty. So with that, Ira, I'm going to turn it back to you. And again, I look forward to seeing some of you in September, or all of you in September. Thanks very much. So Ira, was that okay?
Yep. Thank you, Rickey,
Okay,
for such
good.
a warm welcome
Okay.
to our students.
Yeah, sorry, everyone. I'm going to log off now, but have a great rest of the session with my colleagues.
Lovely to see you today, Rickey. See you
Okay,
sometime soon.
thanks, Ira. All the best.
Awesome. So what we're going to do next is introduce part of our LFS Student Services team, and we'll start off with introducing Shannon.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you today. My name is Shannon Blakely. I'm the Student Transition and Engagement Advisor within LFS Student Services. I work mostly with first-year students. If you're coming to UBC next year, you're likely going to be hearing a lot from me, whether that's through email or meeting with you one-on-one to help pick your courses or interacting with me in some discussion boards. I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you.
I'll
Hi,
pass it on to Ella.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ella. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the International Student Academic Advisor in the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. So I work with all of our students across all of our programs, but I also put a special emphasis on working with any international students who are coming to study in our faculty. It is my pleasure to be here with you today and to get a chance to welcome you to this awesome faculty and to give you a chance to learn more about all of the amazing things you could learn about and study and generate your own new knowledge about within our programs.
Thank you, Ella. And we also have members of our student outreach team here today, so I'll let them introduce themselves, starting with Sophia.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia. I'm currently a third-year student in LFS and I'm studying dietetics. I'm currently an LFS student ambassador, so I'm working as part of the Work Learn program here at UBC. And a lot of what I do is engage with high school students and let them know a little bit more about what our faculty is and why it is so great. And I'll pass it on to Ayasha.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to LFS. My name is Ayasha. I'm in my 4th year studying nutritional sciences. And alongside Sophia, I'm also a student ambassador. We go around high schools just to talk about the LFS programs that the faculty offers and also the engagement opportunities and what LFS is all about. And I'll pass it back to Ira.
Awesome. So those are a couple of faces that you'll see throughout your time at LFS. Now that we've done our introductions, let's do a bit of an icebreaker so that we can get to know all of you. I invite you all to use your annotate function on Zoom, which can be accessed by clicking on the green bar at the top of your screen, then click on annotations. Now feel free to stamp or circle where you're joining us from today.
Ira, I don't know if I'm just technologically challenged, but I can't find the annotate button and it's not showing up for me. And I wonder if it might not be for other people as well, since we're not seeing any annotations.
Let's see here. Let me know if you're able to see it now.
I'm seeing it now. Thank you.
All right, everyone, let's try round 2. Let's try to annotate where you're joining us from today. Ooh, we've got a nice long line across the continent. A lot of BC, North America, general kind of California area. Someone pointing to Southeast Asia, Indonesia region.
Sounds stupid, but I don't know how to find the annotate button.
No worries. If you were able to find the green bar at the top, when it's next to Zoom, you might see an options where you can click on to annotate.
Okay, so this is the first time I had to use annotate. I'm sorry, my high school never did it.
All good. If anything, you can always just share it in a chat as well. That's easier for you. Ooh, I'm liking the stars and smiley faces. Glad to see you're all excited and happy to be here. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing for where you're joining us from today. We're so happy that you can get to be here with us. Now, before we continue, I'm just going to clear our annotations and move on to our next slide. Perfect. Great. So you may be wondering, what is LFS? So we're the faculty at the University of British Columbia that focuses on balancing food and water systems with planetary health in the hopes of creating a better. Amongst the world's best, LFS at UBC is one of the world's top-ranking programs in sustainable agriculture, food systems, and human health as it relates to food and food production. There's no other faculty like ours anywhere. From experts in soil science to practice analysts of global food markets, our team of award-winning and internationally recognized faculty members and researchers bring some of the world's best thinking to bear on your current problems. You can study right alongside them. We are shaping the leaders of the future, the people who understand the complex interplay between our land, our resources, our environments, and our needs. If you want your education to have a big impact, start here. The Faculty of Land and Food Systems at UBC is where you'll uncover your interests and get connected with the global issues that matter to you most. Think of it as an applied exploratory degree. Now, why study in LFS? To start, our programs address real local and global issues like food security, health and nutrition, land use, animal welfare, and more. We also operate from the perspective that no issue can be studied from a single lens. We use a systems-based approach, helps to fit to your specific area of focus, which fits into the bigger picture. We're also a smaller faculty in a massive university. Here you're able to get to know the staff, students, and faculty, and this creates an atmosphere of support and grants opportunities to hone in subject-specific interests in upper years. Beyond this, many of our courses are based in reality, requires hands-on applied learning, and take you into the community where you'll get to engage with others to solve real-world issues. LFS integrates professional skill building into our courses, focusing on those skills employers tell us that they're looking for. You will be prepared for many different careers because you will have the skills necessary to be successful, which complements your academic knowledge. Now, in a moment here, we're going to separate into different breakout rooms for the deep dive conversations. But before we do that, I want to give an overview of the degree programs that we have here in LFS. Our first year entry programs are Food, Nutrition, and Health and Applied Biology. These are the programs that you've been admitted to. However, after your first year, you'll be able to specialize. In F&H, there are 5 majors, and in AppBi, there are 2. And these opportunities are what we're going to discuss in the next part of the session. However, I do want to mention that there are 2 other degree programs that you can transfer into after your first year. There's Global Resource Systems, in which you can study a wide array of disciplines and develop integrated knowledge of agricultural resources from an international perspective. And the other is Food and Resource Economics, in which you can study international supply chains and critical issues in food production and distribution internationally. If either of these sound interesting to you, please feel free to check them out at the following links. Now, without further ado, I invite you all to select the appropriate breakout room for your major. These can be found at the control panel of your Zoom screen where it says Breakout Rooms, and then select the degree program that you've applied to, and we'll get started.
I'll go ahead and get us started. Thank you everyone for joining us in our AppBi breakout room for our deep dive session today. As I mentioned, my name's Ella and I'm one of the academic advisors in LFS Student Services. Also here with me in the breakout room to help run today's presentation is Sophia from our outreach team. So feel free to message either of us if you're running into any problems seeing or hearing the presentation. I also want to take a moment to introduce the featured guests for today's presentation. So first up, I want to take a moment to introduce you to Dr. Maya Kurtzik, who is an associate professor of applied biology as well as in the Forest and Conservation Sciences program at UBC. So if you want to know everything you'd ever wanted to know about soil, Maya is the person to talk to, and she's going to be able to share a little bit more about her experiences and what you can expect in the applied biology program. And then we also have a student guest speaker as well, Colette, who is in the applied animal biology major and is a current student in our program. So a great person to talk to learn more about her experiences and what she's been doing through her degree. So we're going to have lots of time to chat with them today, but I also want to take a moment to give a quick overview about what we're going to see on our program. So for today's agenda, I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk through our different majors within the applied biology program and give you an overview of those. And then we'll hear both from Maya and from Colette about their experiences and talk a little bit more about the types of careers that you might be able to go into as an applied biology student. So we know that many of you have questions about that. There's also many other things that you might have questions about as well. And so to help manage those questions and make sure that we can get to answer all of them today, we've set up a Slido link for us. So if you go to slido.com and put the event code APBI into it, you'll be get brought into our event Slido. You can also scan the QR code on the screen to access the Slido as well. And you can either ask questions anonymously there, or if you see that someone else has asked a question that you're also wondering about, feel free to upvote their question to bring it up to the top of the list. We'll be spending lots of time answering those questions and making sure that you get the information that you're looking for during today's session. All right, so you've been admitted into applied biology. You might be thinking you know exactly what that is and you're super excited and pumped for that. Probably there's some of you out there that are thinking, what exactly did I get myself into? And what is applied biology? So the most important thing to know off the top is that applied biology is going to be a science degree. So science is going to be at the core of everything that you're learning about in your classes. You're going to take that foundation in sciences and apply it into the management of soils, plants, animals, and food production. It's going to give you opportunities to get hands-on and experiential learning opportunities. So things like heading out on field trips to the UBC farm or to other locations, going out into field study courses locally or around the world, participating in practicums where you get hands-on experience in work settings as well. So you really get a chance to address problems in a practical and real-world way as a part of your degree. Thinking about how you can address that technical and theoretical knowledge that you're developing as a student into the real world issues of sustainability, ethics, and systems thinking into everyday work and everyday studies is part of what you'll be doing as a student in the applied biology program. So within applied biology, as Ira mentioned in the main room, we do have two different majors available. First up is applied animal biology, which allows you to study animal physiology, behavior, welfare, and ethics. So if you're interested in learning about anything about animals, so why do they behave the way they do? How do we take care of them so that they have a great quality of life? What is the role of animals and how did we decide on those roles within our society? Those are the types of things that you can learn about as an applied animal biology student. Our other major today that we're going to talk through is sustainable agriculture and environment, which we often refer to as, in short, as SAGE within the faculty. So you'll get to study things including biodiversity, sustainability, food security, rural and urban agriculture, plant sciences, and soil sciences, all as a part of the SAGE program. In either of these majors, we also offer the option to do an honors program, which is a competitive major. So if you're admitted into the honors option for your degree, you require that you maintain a higher academic standing, and you'll get the opportunity to complete a thesis, a major final year research paper in your final year of your degree. So if you have a particular topic that you're very interested in learning more about, and you want to conduct your own original research under the supervision of a faculty member, a thesis is a great way that you can do that. If you're thinking about going on to graduate programs that are research-based, building strong relationships with faculty members for the purposes of vet school applications, or you are just an extremely curious person and looking to build new knowledge and try new challenges, pursuing the honors option might be a great opportunity for you. So now that you've heard a little bit about those two programs, I want to know from you, and you can just share in the chat here, which program are you or which major are you interested in within the applied biology program? Are you thinking applied animal biology or sustainable agriculture and environment? I find a lot of the time students already have an idea of which one they're planning for when they are coming into UBC, but sometimes people are kind of thinking about both, or they might be flexible and just trying to learn and explore. And that's okay. You don't have to know right now when you're applying into the university which major you're going to go into. You actually take the exact same classes in first year, no matter which of those majors you're interested in. And then after you've had a chance to be here for a year, talk to some professors, learn more about the programs in your classes, experience some of the opportunities that are available on campus, then you'll get to decide which major you're planning for. The nice thing is they're non-competitive majors. So you just, as long as you get to second year in the program, you can pick whichever of those majors you're most interested in within applied biology. So you've got some great options. So I can see those responses rolling in the chat. Lots of animal interest, fantastic. I see a sage in there as well. We've got some people interested in both of our different programs, which is fantastic. So I know that probably something that you're thinking about, or maybe your families are also thinking about, is if I study in applied biology, what the heck am I going to do with that? And what can I do if I study SAGE, or what can I do if I study applied animal biology? There's one job right there at the top of the list that I know lots of students think about and must think about. Is the program that you would be going into, or the career that you'd be going into if you study animals, and that's being a veterinarian. And this program is designed to prepare you to apply to veterinary school and to meet prerequisites for veterinary programs. But there's so many other opportunities as well. So maybe you want to work in a wildlife rehab role. Maybe you want to go into practicing human medicine. Maybe you want to become a registered professional biologist or a professional agrologist. Those are both professional designations that you could qualify for by completing the applied biology program. Maybe you want to go into research, or you want to work in conservation roles. There are all sorts of different things that are opportunities that could become available to you. Maybe these aren't all careers that you're already familiar with, but they're things that you could learn more about and explore as a part of your degree as well. Few other ones on here. So some of them I mentioned earlier: professional agrologist. Maybe you want to go into geoscience, farming specialist, or work on crop protection. All of these are careers that we have seen students from our programs go on into. So if any of them sound intriguing or exciting, or ones that you might be wanting to learn more about, you'll get that chance to learn more about those as part of the program, because we've got career preparation opportunities built into your programs. Other things that might get you a little bit excited, I've picked a few fun courses from the Applied Biology program that we've highlighted on the screen here. So maybe you're interested in thinking about animal welfare and ethics of animal use. Maybe you really want to learn a lot more about soil. As I mentioned, we've got our soil specialist here. So Maya can definitely tell you all about things that you could learn in some of these soil classes highlighted here. Maybe you're thinking about entomology and you want to learn about insect ecology, or you want to learn about wildlife management. All things you could learn in applied biology courses. All right, so I'm going to pass it over now to Colette and invite her to come on and talk a little bit about her experiences and what has been one of her favorite classes while studying in the applied biology program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ella. So my name is Colette. It's really great to meet all of you guys virtually. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of my experiences in AppBi, and I'll highlight these my favorite courses. I'll talk to you a little bit about these images, and then at the end, I'll stick around. So if you have any questions that you wanted to ask, like an AppBi student, current AppBi student, I'm happy to answer those. So for me, my favorite AppBi course is definitely an upper year course. And that's just because the first 2 years of the AppBi program are more so generalized science courses. So a lot of, basic like math, chemistry, stuff like that. But for me, I really enjoyed 3rd and 4th year when I got to do more specialized courses. So specifically, there's a course AppBi 490. If you guys ever get the chance and you're interested, this is more of like a veterinary focused course. So it's applied topics in animal biology, specifically health, welfare, and diseases in shelter animals. So I found that course very, very interesting. It was taught by a registered doctor of veterinary medicine, Dr. Alex Boo, and he's actually practicing in the Metro Vancouver area. And he just talked about a lot of very pertinent animal diseases that are common in shelters, as well as just, household pets and domestic animals. And I found that really interesting because I'm really interested in going to veterinary school post undergrad. So that was really interesting to me. Yeah, and I guess I'll just touch on a couple of these images. So the first one here on the left side, that's me with Reggie the bee. You guys will become very familiar with Reggie over the next couple of years. So that's our mascot for the Land and Food Systems undergraduate society. And this was actually taken on Imagine Day, which I'm not sure if that's something that you guys have already kind of discussed before, but that's just basically the first day of classes. Reggie comes out, the entire undergraduate society comes out and meets all the students, and you guys get the opportunity to learn more about LFS, talk to professors, look at the building, as well as look at different clubs that are boothing that day. So it's just a really great introduction to UBC, LFS, everything that everybody has to offer. And yeah, if you're lucky, usually Reggie comes out and makes a surprise appearance. Yeah, and then the second photo here is one of my experiences during second year in my undergraduate when I was working as a social coordinator. So that's just one of the positions within the Land and Food Systems Undergraduate Society, which is a really great opportunity if you guys ever get the chance. It's the student organization that works for the undergraduate students of LFS, and we just do stuff like put on events, manage all sorts of things like fundraisers, and you have all these cool like perks just for being an LFS student. So that's you get a lot of support from the undergraduate society. So that was just during one of the events that we put on, which is a carnival. It was really fun. You guys should definitely check out any of the events that the undergraduate society are putting on, because it's a really great opportunity to grow your LFS community and just kind of relax from school for a moment. And then that last one there is from my position last year when I took on a vice president role as student life. So it's you get the opportunity to manage a couple teams, and it's really great to build your resume and learn professional skills. So those are all opportunities within LFS that I was able to take advantage of. But yeah, also just AppI in general, you get a really great community of students that are all kind of focused on animal welfare, animal behavior, a lot of great minds thinking the same thing. So it's really cool. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have regarding AppI or just life as an LFS student as well. Yeah, I'll pass it back to you, Ella.
Ella, you're just muted.
Sorry there, I'm just getting myself organized. Too many screens, too many buttons, all going on at once. So thank you so much, Colette, for sharing a little bit about your experiences. I am clicking through, finding the right presentation here. So I'm just going to switch over and stop my screen share for a moment, and then share the presentation that we've got coming up from Maya, our soil science prop. So give me 1 second to get her screen slides up on the screen, and I will share those with you. All right. So Maya's put together some slides with some advice, so I will let her take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Ella. And thank you everybody for coming to this event. It's always nice to see that young people are interested to find about faculty and programs that they're thinking of embarking on. And you just heard from Colette, who is much closer in age to you guys. I was an undergrad student many years ago, and I am currently an associate professor of soil science in the applied biology program, more focused obviously on that SAGE major, just based on my program. So what I prepared is kind of typical what an academic professor does in their career. We do all kinds of different things, and for a very long time my parents thought that all I do is just teach, and every year I would have to tell them, well, during summer I'm not really free. I do other things. So, you know, I see that most of you are leaning more towards the applied animal biology, but just consider what I tell you as kind of a framework, what any professor at academic institution in Canada or around the world typically does. So yeah, I just realized I don't have the control. So next slide. I would like to dive into general groups of things that I do. So next slide. So there are, in my example, there are three main areas that I do in my work. One of them is doing research, and I don't do research alone, which I find very gratifying and fun. We are all social people and we like to work with others. And as a university professor, you do research with your graduate students, sometimes undergraduate students venture into our labs and research groups. And we also collaborate quite a bit with other professors, not just at UBC, but other institutions or various government, either federal or provincial government institutions. In case of us soil scientists, we collaborate with folks that work for various environmental consulting companies, private or government again. Some of us work very closely with policymakers, depends in which direction one decides to go. What drew me into soil science, among other things, was the fact that I can really go into very different directions by being a soil scientist. And just from the list of various types of ecosystems where I was able to do my research during my career, you can see that as a soil scientist, I was able to work in what you would expect from a professor in land and food systems, that I worked in the cropped ecosystems. But besides that, I worked in grassland ecosystems. I happen to have a joint appointment with Faculty of Forestry, and that's not surprising because soil scientists can and do work in forest ecosystems. And I worked in urban ecosystems, community gardens, brownfields, downtown on East Side. And I even worked on a golf course, even though I don't play golf, but one of my first grad students actually had a project on a golf course. Such a variety of ecosystems, obviously management practices are quite different among them, but when it comes to the basic science principles, or if you want basic soil science principles, they really cross all of those boundaries. And you can also imagine that any of these ecosystems can be in BC, but they don't necessarily have to be just in British Columbia. And lots of us soil scientists work in all kinds of different parts of the world, which in my mind makes soil science quite exciting. So next slide, please. Besides research, obviously, as university professors, we do teach courses. So courses that I personally teach are listed here. APBI 200 is Introduction to Soil Science, and that's one of the required courses for SAGE major. And I think a little bit earlier on, Ella was giving you an overview of what applied biology major is about and what the whole Faculty of Land and Food Systems is. And I believe she mentioned that in our majors, students get I would say finally, the opportunity to see the application of various basic science principles. In high school, you learn about biology, you learn about chemistry and physics and math, but judging from what I hear from my students in my courses, that's still kind of left at a very abstract and nebulous level, and it leaves students wondering, what do I do with all of this knowledge? And when you do come into our courses in our faculty, you finally see where all of those science principles can be applied in some real life situations. So when it comes to soil science, it's very much building from the principles of physics and chemistry and biology in various combinations. And I personally find that exciting, and that's what drew me to soil science way back when I was an undergrad student. And then I teach, besides that intro soils course, I teach a couple of upper level courses. APBI 402, which is also cross-listed with a graduate course, is called Sustainable Soil Management course. in which we provide students with real-life data sets from various ecosystems, and we get students from different faculties, not just different majors, but we get students not just from LFS, but forestry and environmental sciences, physical geography, and we give them an opportunity to work on these various case studies. And in some of these case studies, they actually prepare recommendations for land managers like UBC farm managers of various community gardens, that kind of stuff. So that would be a kind of an application of concepts that are covered in these earlier year soil science courses. APBI 403, Soil 503 is a labs course. It's solely focused on the soil sampling lab methods that are typically used in soil science, and also data interpretation. Again, hands-on, very applied kind of course. I also, on occasion, offer tailor-made courses like APBI 497 or Soil 530. That's a graduate level, but that's a directed studies. And that's something to keep in mind, maybe not in second year, but in third and fourth year, when you kind of have a better idea what interests you and which courses you really liked. Maybe you volunteered in some lab, to approach an instructor and ask them, would they be willing to take you on as a directed studies student? As I said, these are tailor-made for specific student for a specific topic. And topic can be anything really from a literature review on whatever is the topic of interest for you and the instructor, or you can maybe engage in collection of some data, or maybe you are given a data that already exists in a certain research lab and asked to write something about a data set. It can be really a variety of different topics, and it's really a good way to assess, are you really interested in a particular topic as your future career, or maybe a grad school down the road. So something to think about as an option, as a course, but I would personally suggest that to be considered in third and fourth year of your program. And then in next slide, what I do is also outreach, and lots of faculty members, especially in our Faculty of Land and Food Systems, do some form of outreach. It could be through working and connecting with various members of community, farmers, but community gardeners, as I said earlier, policymakers, researchers in government, elementary and high school teachers. All kinds of opportunities exist in that avenue. And I just listed 3 examples of a couple of scientific and professional societies that I'm involved, because I do want to give an advice about being involved with societies in one of the coming slides. But PRSSS is Pacific Regional Society of Soil Science. Then we have a Canadian Soil Science Society. There is also Soil Science Society of America. There is International Union of Soil Science. So you have a range of local and national and international societies, not just in soil science, but in any science. And all of those societies do welcome undergraduate students as members. So if you are thinking of going in a certain direction with a certain discipline, becoming a member of a professional and or scientific society might be the way, just to get to know the community in that discipline, to network with them, to see what different people are doing beyond your program and your faculty and even UBC, just to help you plan your future steps beyond your undergraduate major. So with that, I guess let's go to a couple of advices. We can go to next one. Again, I'm completely biased. I love soils. I made the right decision way back when I was an undergrad student. Even though I went into agricultural sciences thinking I will be a plant breeder, well, that plan didn't work out. I just didn't like that. And then I came across a discipline like soil science that I really knew nothing about when I went into my undergrad degrees. I didn't even know that there is such discipline. I loved it from the get-go, and I stuck with it, and here I am many years later on. So be curious, make plans, but also be open-minded to change your plans. I guess that's my advice. Next advice is related to what I was saying. Try to get involved with your instructors through those directed studies to opportunities about volunteering in their labs. Just approach your instructors of your courses and see what opportunities they might have. Lots of our courses have labs, and those are led usually by graduate students as teaching assistants. So you can approach a teaching assistant if you have one in your course and ask them, do they have any volunteering opportunities? And as I mentioned, see what societies are out there in disciplines that are of interest for you, and try to become a member. And the last advice on this slide is, be open-minded. Don't expect that you will have a firm plan from the get-go. I was big on planning when I still am, but even when I was younger, I liked to plan, and I came into my undergraduate program with a plan, which totally didn't work out. But again, when circumstances change or something else presents itself to you as an opportunity, don't shun it away, and explore it, because you don't have to have all the answers early on. And even later on in your undergrad program, or even in your graduate program, or even in your career when you do start working. There are so many options out there. And I do have the last slide, which I totally stole from people that are way better with words of advice than I am. Stealing from Barack Obama, there is this quote where he said, and this is from when he was asked to give advice to young people about career choices. And he said that one should worry less about what you want to be and think more about what you want to do. And another advice from him was really don't, especially early on, you really don't know what's available, what's out there. So focusing, your career choice on a particular challenge rather than job title. And by challenge, it can be an issue that's dear to your heart, climate change, or you want to increase biodiversity and deal with all of these issues that are facing us, or some of these issues. We can't all deal with all of them. It's way better because it provides you way more options and opportunities, or as he said, you open up a much wider definition of success and success for you. And behind every wise and successful man, there is also a good woman. So the final advice that I will give you is from Michelle Obama. Because she also gave some advice to young people about their career choices. And building on this definition of success, Michelle Obama said, well, success isn't really about how your life looks to others. It is really about how it feels to you. So you will know what attracts you, what makes you excited. And if you find something like that in your career choices, you will be on the right track. So with that, that's all I had. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much, Maya. That was some great advice. And I think things that I would also agree, having worked with many students, that they often come in thinking I need to know exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it, or I know how I'm going to do it and what my plan is going to be. Being open to the things you don't know about or that you haven't tried yet, and knowing that things might change along the way, all good things to think about and to keep in mind throughout your degree. And I know that Maya is very passionate about what she teaches about and makes other people pretty excited about it too. My husband took her class when he was a student. He almost came out a soil scientist. So let me just pull up our presentation again here. So give me 1 second and I'll get back into it. So I've had a chance to talk to you a little bit about, or you've heard a little bit from Colette and from Maya about their experiences, their advice for you. I want to take a moment to give a few things to make sure that we cover off some of these different ways you can get involved in the faculty outside of what you pick as your major, because your major is going to be a big part of your degree and how you study at UBC, but there's so many other choices along the way as well. So okay, perfect. So first up, there's lots of ways you can volunteer and get involved on campus in things that you care about and things that you're passionate about. So Colette talked about her volunteering with the Undergraduate Society. That's a great one. Another one, especially since we have so many people interested in animal biology here today, that lots of our students get involved with is PADS, which is Pacific Assistant Dogs Society. We have lots of people on campus who are involved as PADS puppy trainers, so training assistant dogs to be able to interact and support people in their work is one example of one way you could volunteer. Maya talked about getting involved and getting interested in research, so doing a directed studies or a thesis, finding that thing that you're excited and passionate about and pursuing it further. Maybe you start out by volunteering or helping out someone else with their research, and as your own interests develop and your skills grow, you could develop your own research project later on in your degree. Exchange and international opportunities there are many different ways you can do this. So maybe you go abroad for a semester, or you take a summer where you're studying in another location other than in Vancouver. UBC has partner institutions all around the world, so lots of different places that you could go to study abroad. We also have some courses that are run by LFS professors in other locations around the world called global seminars. So you could be studying with a professor or with a UBC professor and going with a group of UBC students to learn in another location. Ayasha, who's the student ambassador in the other breakout room today, was just telling us before we were leaving, she's leaving to go on a global seminar in Indonesia in just a couple of days. So she's going to be taking some time this summer to do an impact evaluation course as a global seminar over the summer. So that's pretty exciting. We talked a little bit about co-op and work experiences and thinking about your career. Co-op is a way that you can build in work experience as a part of your degree. So if you want to start getting a chance to try out different jobs and see what kind of work you might be interested in doing and different ways that you might want to apply the knowledge that you're gaining as a student at UBC, co-op is a great way to do that. It's paid work experiences that last from 4 to 8 months long, and that you alternate in with your work term or your study terms of your degree. So you take a little longer to graduate, but at the end of your degree, you've built a great resume and built some great connections and networks to help you prepare for your career after graduation. And another great opportunity for hands-on experiences is through our practicum programs. So in applied biology, we have an amazing selection of practicum options. So we have practicums for applied animal biology students at locations like the Dairy Education and Research Center that you can see featured on the screen here, or maybe through the BC SPCA or the Wild Animal Rescue Center, or even the Vancouver Aquarium. Those are all locations that offer practicum courses for applied animal biology. If you're interested more in SAGE, we have a career practicum program that's run through the UBC farm. So that could be with the farm or it could be with other partner organizations as well. So you can get some hands-on experience. Maybe you're getting actually hands-on in the dirt, working with the soil. Maybe you're doing plant propagations. Maybe you're going to work more on the business side of things and help with the marketing of farmers markets in Vancouver, for example. All of those are real opportunities that are a part of our practicum programs that you could look forward to participating in as a part of your degree. So all sorts of things that hopefully have gotten you excited. I want to take a moment here to mark your calendars for some upcoming events and deadlines. So if you have been joining us for LFS Welcomes You this week, we have 2 more dates later this week. So tomorrow at 4:30, we have our Land 1 info session about Land 1, our first year program option. And then on Thursday, we have a session that's going to be run by our LFS career strategist, Allison, to talk about careers in LFS and how you can think ahead about planning for what careers you might be interested in, or how you can incorporate thinking about developing your career as a student. So if you want to register, the link is on the screen here. It's the same link we registered for today's session. So you can go back and find that again if you'd like. After this, all sorts of things to come up with. The most important one to keep in mind is that if you do want to come to UBC, you have to let us know that. So make sure that if you've decided that applied biology is the program for you, you accept your offer of admission by the deadline that's listed for you in your admission letter or on the Applicant Service Center. For many students, that will be May 1st, but it could be something different. So please read your letter carefully and make sure you don't miss that deadline. Shortly after students have started to accept their offer of admission, we'll add you into LFS Roots. Roots is an online course for new LFS students, and that stands for Reach Out, Orientation, Transition, and Study Skills. It is there to help you through the summer and through your entire first year to help you be successful and know what to expect and prepared for what's coming up as a student in LFS. So we'll add you to that shortly after you accept your offer of admission, and then we'll start communicating with you there so that you know how to pick your classes, when registration is going to happen, what to expect when you arrive on campus, ways to get involved in different clubs and opportunities like what Colette spoke about. So all those modules will get released on Roots all through the summer to help you get ready, and then once a month throughout your first year as well. Course registration is going to happen at the end of June for first year students, and then in August and September, we'll have our orientation programs for you to look forward to. Much more information about all of that coming up over the summer. So I've got a couple ways you can get in touch with us up on the screen. If you have questions for academic advisors, feel free to reach out to us by email at lfs.advising@ubc.ca. If you want to talk to Sophia or Ayasha or their colleagues and the student outreach team and get advice from current students, lfs.ambassador@ubc.ca is their email. You can follow us, the Student Services Office, on Instagram at LFS Newsletters. That's the name of our email newsletter that we sent out, and then it's also our online newsletter through Instagram. Or if you want to find out more about what's going on within the faculty more broadly, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at UBC LF.